away in a foreign land. The trial of learning a new language, raising children and helping them succeed in school, and securing work used to be the biggest challenges immigrants and refugees faced in the U.S. Today, however, with barriers such as the coronavirus pandemic and the reducing of federal funding to refugee programs, newcomers now have even more hurdles and obstacles to overcome. Starting a new life and being successful in a new country may seem almost like a fairy tale. With so many barriers in the way, many foreigners have opted out of trying to be a successful citizen and have found new contentment with just living for the day. Persecution, war, sexual orientation, hunger, and even climate changes are some of the main reasons people become refugees. Today, there are more than 26 million refugees worldwide. Since the Refugee Act of 1979, the United States has historically led the world in refugee resettlement numbers. However, in 2017, the Trump administration began reducing the number of refugees accepted annually. By 2019, the federal funding for refugee programs had decreased, and executive orders had been issued to give states more authority to limit resettlement, resulting in the reduction of new immigrants. By comparison, the U.S. admitted 85,000 refugees in 2016. By the year 2020, the United States had almost reached 12,000.
One of the biggest challenges that refugees have to overcome is their own traumatic background. I've been thrilled to be coming into a country where they can be safe. They have been hurt, they have been hunted, they have been persecuted, and to come into the United States and be free from that is the first challenge that they have to overcome.
It's actually quite impressive to see these refugees succeed when you look at all the challenges. They face language challenges. English is complicated. As an English speaker, it's complicated. And so these people come in trying to learn a new language.
The children are amazing. They get put in English-speaking schools almost immediately, and they learn the language so quickly. But their parents are often not quite as quick. So the children end up often being interpreters for their parents.
Atlanta has become a city that is recognized by nearly everyone in the world. From its southern hospitality and sports teams to its demanding airport and diverse music heritage, the city of Atlanta has it all. Apart from all the glamour of being considered the new Hollywood, if you were to adventure just east of downtown Atlanta, you would come across the small city of Clarkston. Noted for its ethnic diversity and often referred to as the most diverse square mile in America and the Ellis Island of the South, Clarkston, Georgia has become home to over 37,000 refugees over the past 25 years.
Not very many job opportunities available to the refugees. A lot of them have to work in a chicken factory, and they have to drive 45 minutes to get to work. And normally it's, the midnight to 9 a.m. shifts, the third shifts that nobody really wants to do. And so that's putting children at risk because, it's only one parent at home instead of two. And mom's not there to get them to school. And then by the time they get back from school, mom's heading off to work in an hour.
One of the things that is very difficult for refugees that I think is often overlooked is the ability to get out of poverty.
One thing that makes Georgia's refugee resettlement program so unique is that we have a place like Clarkston for all of the refugees to transition into.
So I learned a word about Clarkston called super diversity. So this word super diversity applies to Clarkston because it's not just a diverse area. It is an extremely diverse area. If you were to walk down any given street, any given apartment complex and knock on doors, the likelihood of you finding two people that come from the same area is not that great. It's actually, Clarkston is considered the most diverse square mile in the United States. And so that made Clarkston a wonderful spot to be able to come and love and serve people.
I know there are resettlement cities all over America, but to find one as diverse as Clarkston, where anybody of any skin color, religion, race, nationality can come and feel welcomed, is such a unique thing. And so people can come into Atlanta, literally 20 minutes down the road, they're in a community where they can find someone who speaks their language. They can find their own food. They can find a place to worship in their, heart, tongue, or, there's just such a welcoming aspect of Clarkston that I think is very unique.
Envision Atlanta is a ministry of the Christian Missionary Alliance with a desire to serve vulnerable people groups. So we are honored to be able to follow Jesus' mandate, to welcome the stranger, to serve the poor, to advocate for widows and orphans. In James, it says that pure and undefiled religion is this, looking after widows and orphans in their distress. And the refugee population has more widows and orphans than probably any other population, maybe in the United States right now. And so it is our joy, our privilege to be able to love and serve this precious people group.
We work in Clarkston to really just show love to refugees, but we also want to show them the love of God. We do a various amount of things in Clarkston, from distributing food, which at the height of the pandemic, we distributed food to over 4,000 people a week, to after-school programs, to running discipleship groups, English classes, taking people to the doctors, really meeting whatever needs our community has.
During President Trump's executive order, many states like Georgia opted to continue accepting refugees. However, a cap was set on the number of refugees allowed in the U.S. Year after year, we saw a decrease in the number of acceptance. By 2020, the U.S. had hit its lowest admission level since the history of the program. Along with the cap, funding for refugee programs had also decreased. As government fundings for larger resettlement agencies become more and more restricted, smaller organizations have become important lifelines for these immigrants.
I feel like I'm growing up living in Clarkston for a very long time, and knowing people around me is something that I really love about. Growing up, my dream is to help back my community, and the Envision is like something that I feel like it taught me to grow my passion and in my community, and also get into the a gospel of God words, and I feel like those are something that I really love doing.
Being away from home in a new land is hard to fathom, and even harder to go through. A new language, a new community, and a new lifestyle are all obstacles to overcome. And in some cases, it can almost be impossible to endure. Thankfully, with small organizations such as Envision Atlanta, refugees can have a sense of hope.